Welcome back to the podcast. My name is Joseph Clough, and this is episode 481. Or if you're in my program, it is episode, oh my goodness, we are at 806. So I hope you are doing absolutely wonderful today. The last time I did a podcast episode was on Wednesday, July the 8th, and before that was June the 6th, so it's been quite a while, and I've just been incredibly busy serving my clients. Myself, my team, we're here to get the results, so it can take away from doing podcasts at times, especially when I am doing a lot of custom work for my clients. But in this episode, I would love to talk to you about how your self-opinion will dictate your results. And I mean your results in any area of your life. Your own inner image of how you see yourself will absolutely dictate the limitation or the freedom that you will experience in your life. And we do not do this at a conscious level, although we participate consciously because you are participating in the awareness of being or having an issue. Not all the time, because there's different stages of learning. Like the first stage of learning is knowing you don't know what you don't know. Like that's one of the first steps, is that we're just totally unconscious. The next step is being consciously aware that you don't know what you don't know. But most of the time, if you're listening to this podcast, unless you're new here today, you will be in a place that you know that something is wrong. And you'll also be participating in the experience. You will not control the experience to the level that you would like, but you are still participating. You are still aware of the thoughts that you have. You are aware of the feelings that you feel. Whether that be the imposter syndrome, fears, worries, fear of failure, fear of success, fear of what other people think, fear of being found out. No matter how you experience it, you will be aware of your experience. But the thing which will dictate your results is really going to be down to your own self-opinion, consciously and unconsciously. And more often than not, the more hardwired nature of you is at the unconscious level. Your beliefs will create your world. Your beliefs will formulate the thoughts that you have about yourself and the world. Your beliefs will cause you to feel certain things. It will create the neural associations of how you foresee what might happen. Like if you're anxious, you're thinking about all the things which may go wrong. And that creates the anxiety. It's the thought and the feeling, but it's the belief, the self-opinions of yourself, your identity in other words, which will create your experience. This is critical for you to know. Because most people will focus on symptoms. They'll be focusing on the worry, the fear, the doubt, the lack, the scarcity. And if we focus on those, we will look for more of the same. Your unconscious mind is very intelligent, but it will also follow your instructions. Your instructions, if you are experiencing an issue, are probably not the best. Because if you're focusing on what you don't want, then it's going to seek out more of it. If you're feeling more anxiety and then you get anxious about your anxiety, like a meta feeling, then it will look for more of the things which are similar to that. So yes, at a level, we have to be consciously aware of what is happening unconsciously, that your self-opinion is going to create your self-limitation. And I'm saying self on both of those because it is about yourself. We can change it. It means that we don't have to look for the outside or get someone to change it or someone in the past to redo or undo the work that they did to us through those past significant emotional events. We can actually start to do this ourselves. But the stage of learning that our self-opinion creates our self-limitation is vital. It's a level of assumption of responsibility. It's a level of recognizing that what you're doing it's being run beneath the surface. It is so important in understanding this. And of course, once you understand or you know the reality, in other words, you're not just going to live by the reasons or the excuses or the validations of your situation, you're going to then shift your awareness, you're going to shift your thinking into a problem-solving situation. You won't know how to solve it yet, you may not have all the answers yet, but at least you become self-aware that your self-opinion is creating your self-limitation. That is the first step, the responsibility and the awareness that something has to change. Most people on that first level of not knowing what they don't know. Now you know that you don't know how to get your outcome, but you are very much aware that something is happening, that is being run within your neurology. It is being run beneath the surface. And many people will do many different things to try to then resolve it. They may listen to a podcast. They may listen to a hypnosis track. They might read many great and wonderful books out there. They might go to a one-to-one session. They might invest really big into themselves to get the dramatic change that they truly desire, like go all in on something. Some people will just stay the same. And that's okay as well. I do never want to push anything upon you. I always like to impress upon you the importance of our thoughts and our ideas and our ideologies of what can and what may not happen. But it's always down to the person to assume that responsibility, to then take action on their desires. Because it's hard enough remaining the same, and it can also be hard to make the change. There's a level of energy on both options. For me, staying the same actually does require a lot more energy in the long term. Because if we're forever in this cycle and this trap of feeling so bad about ourselves, feeling scarcity, never going for that promotion, but deep down we know we want it, that is conflict. We can utilize conflict. Because if we didn't have conflict, everything would be okay. If we have conflict in our life, we can use it as leverage to go, this is why I want to change. So there is a utilization on the conflict that we experience, but some people will remain in the state of conflict. They'll remain in the energy loss by over time thinking about their issue or feeling the feelings that their issue is creating or experiencing the results over and over again that are not working in your favor. This will become a theme for those people. You know people like that. You might even be like that. We've all been there somewhere along the line, that our theme in life is we're never going to get there, that we're unable to achieve our desires, that we are the imposter, and that becomes more ingrained over time. But if we go ahead and decide that I am now aware and that I'm now deciding to do something about it, even if you've tried many other things before, you're going to find the person who will resonate with you, who will understand the nature of you to then be able to show you the way. You can do this by yourself. You can fast track it. But ultimately what I'm saying today is your self-opinion creates your self-limitation. And if you level up that self-opinion, that you come from a place of self-certainty, self-awareness, and self-confidence to the chorus part of you. You become limitless now. You're no longer limiting yourself. I will be honest, we will always be limiting to a degree because it is the nature of being human. But we become unlimited far more so as we level up to that level because we become aware that what we can do. Now, once we become aware of what we can do, we now see opportunities. In the past, you would have deleted them. Your brain unconsciously will delete, distort, and generalize your experience of how you see the world. But once you let go of that, you're no longer deleting those opportunities. You're no longer distorting into negativity. You're no longer giving yourself the ability to be held back, because you are now leveling up in your awareness to make the change that you desire. This is where happiness begins to become a reality. You begin to see the opportunity, and guess what? Just like how your issue will breed more anxiety and breed more stress and create more conflict within yourself and beyond yourself, within your family, within your friends, within your career, the exact same thing happens. But in a positive way, that once you've made that change, your self-certainty and knowingness of who you are will create that abundance and that opportunity, and then that will grow. I love every day when I keep on asking myself, I wonder how much of a great day I'm going to have. I don't know how it's going to happen, but it's just going to happen. And it happens not because of the words or the questions I use, which are good, but it's the self-certainty behind the question. You see, you can actually experience and say all the words that you'd like to say, but if you're not knowing it, if you're not being it, that makes it hard. You may even be aware of the self-certainty in my voice or the conviction of how I try to say the words that I say. Because I've been doing this for 18, 19 years. We've worked with hundreds and thousands of people over that time, of course, and we see it over and over again that once we find the hidden cause of the issue, we will make the change, and then those positive questions will just sink deeply. We could say affirmations and they will just work. But it's almost as if self-affirmations will not work in the conflicted mind. Will they make us feel better? Sure. Will they make it find a little bit easier? Sure. But will it solve it? No. And I'll tell you why. As an analogy, I was thinking about this when it comes to affirmations, is that let's just say we're in your living room. We're having a conversation, and I point out into the corner and say, oh, there's a little bit of mold there. Did you know about that? And you might go, well, yes, I've known about it for a while, but I'm letting it stay there. Or you might go, well, no, I've never seen that before. Thank you for letting me know that there's mold growing. Let's just say we leave it for a while. What's going to happen? We know that the mold's going to grow. And that mold is going to do what? Well, it's going to pollute the air around you with all the particles. It's going to make you sick. Not a good thing to have mold in your building, in your home for that matter, where you sleep every night or where you are eating your food or where you're having your family. It's not a good scenario to have. Let's just say we then have two options. Obviously the option to change it, to keep it, but let's go two options to solve it, or to how we think we could solve it. We could, on the one option, just paint over it. When we look at it, it feels better. Can't see the mold anymore. But deep down, you know it's still there. It might look good on the surface, but what's going to happen? It's going to come back, but even maybe worse this time. You may keep on trying to paint over it, but the mold is going to always carry through because you haven't solved it, right? You haven't solved the cause of that mold. Now, let's just go ahead and change that to affirmations. If you have that conflicted mind and you just say the affirmation like painting over your thought or the core issue, it might feel or look better, but unconsciously it's still going to be there, still going to be creating torment and conflict and stress. So what we have to do is go for that second option and deal with the mold, not paint over it with affirmations, but actually resolve the root cause. Let's just say we took out that mold. Now we can paint it any color we want. Now we solve the core issue in our mind unconsciously. We can now use the affirmations with deep self-certainty to continue to program our success. So I want you to know that yes, we have to be aware in the insight that it's not just reality, it is our self-opinions which will create our self-limitations. Once we remove the limitation, we are open to receive the opportunity and the greatness, the abundance, to level up in our career, to be able to achieve the desires that we want. And that's what I wanted you to be aware of today. This is exactly what we have to do to start changing our mind in every way. Now, if you're someone who is interested in absolutely resolving something like this, and you want to be seen as doing the best in your job, this is for professionals. These are for people who are wanting to level up in their career, in their job, or in their business for that matter, because this is the exact same thing that we solve. You may want to be the best in your job, but at the moment, the fear of getting found out and the self-doubt kicks in. We've all been there. I know I've been there. But I want you to think about it like this. If I were to show you how to finally quit the imposter syndrome and the crippling self-doubt that would cause you to feel unstoppable self-certainty and confidence on demand in every meeting, in work situations, and for that matter, how it just ripples out to every area of your life, then to gain those promotions that matches your ambitions without that constant internal battle of self-doubt and the inner critic of what if I could get found out, what if I slip up, what if I'm not good enough, that you can finally achieve the desires that you want and deserve them and know that they're coming and heading your way. Would you take me up on that offer? To finally release the biggest conflict in your life, the biggest thing that once solved will be the biggest transformation in your life. If you are ready for that and you want to take up on the offer, you have to do this one thing. It's important to watch our masterclass to see if you're a good fit and to see if it resonates with you. It's all about career goal-minded individuals, and all you've got to do is go to josephclough.info/power. josephclough.info/power, POWER. If you want to be one of our next success stories, if you want to level up your life, your career, finally resolve the issue that you finally want to let go of, just go to www.josephclough.info/power. I'll say it again, josephclough.info/power. And that means you'll be able to get the edge of how to finally quit the imposter syndrome. So with that, my wonderful friends, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I look forward to speaking to you on a future one. So with that, I will speak to you soon. Many thanks and goodbye.